Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Moss coming to you with a little bit of standard content today. Now, it's getting real close to the San Diego RC. I think I might have a deck picked out, not 100% though. So, gonna run through a couple of different standard decks just as a little bit of last minute cramming. And what better place to start than with the quickest one itself? We're going to be playing mono blue, or rather blue white soldiers. Now, the deck fairly simple, bunch of soldiers, and you're just going to swing in. Doesn't get any simpler. The only thing that's really changed with the newest set is the fact that now we have Skrelv, now we have fast lands, and maybe a little bit of sideboard tech. But overall, deck does its thing. Big swings, and then we do big things. So, I will see you guys in match number 1. Alright, so we are in match number 1, and unsurprisingly, we are going to be on the draw. This hand looks kind of garbage. If one of these Thalias was anything else, or if one of these lands were anything else, it'd be an immediate keep. This hand is trash, though. This hand got so much worse so quickly. One land, it's real tempting, but the fact that we can't even play anything on one, really bad. Alright, I think we're going to mull to 5. 5 is a lot better. 5 is significantly better. Now, what do we get rid of in this situation? Probably Guardian, and I really want to say Sky Strike Officer. While the card draw is fine, just being able to actually do stuff is good. And of course, it is that dreaded boogeyman of the format. It is Grixis. Alright, so mulling to 5, definitely not great for us here. We're just going to go ahead and show our hand and show that we're soldiers. Hopefully we get to cast Resolute Reinforcements on their end step, and then we get to play Valiant Veteran on our turn. Give our opponent a good target for an activation of their Blood Tithe next turn. Let's go ahead and play the Beachhead. Not going to show anything. And then play the Valiant Veteran. We got to get all the targets out just because Thalia and Harbin really good. Big swing once we get, 5 creatures, 5 soldiers on the battlefield. Good tax effect. Can't really ask for a whole lot more. Kind of surprised that opponents choosing to just cycle with their blood token. So we'll see what they do from here. Chances are they're going to kill the veteran somehow. Yeah, I'm braid. About what I expected. Swing in, easy. Alright, just going to play another Beachhead. Not show anything else. Swing in, try to bait out some type of removal. They didn't take the bait. Now, what would be really surprising if they, casualtied that, but they're not. And then next turn, we have the ability to do the flashback effect of Valiant Veteran, which is pretty sweet. And just pump the whole team. Alright, opponent does a smart thing and doesn't swing. Now, it's actually super tempting here for us to just not do anything. In fact, one of the things that we can do is, if our opponent decides to get real weird with it, maybe try to remove our Resolute Reinforcement. Nope. Opponent's just tapping out. I'll admit, for a mull to 5, we've done a lot of work this turn, this game. And then we get to swing with 5 next turn. Opponent's doing some thinking themselves. Yep, opponent already knew what was about to happen. Alright, Boom. Again, soldiers go burr. You just slam them on the table, and then you just go. Now, sideboarding. With this deck, really kind of hard when you think about some of the things that you can bring in. They're all about kind of wearing down your resources, holding up counter magic. Make it hard for their removal to do anything. So, wedding announcements. Gavany Dawnguard is a piece of old tech. Personally, I still think it has a lot of value, but I am definitely in a minority there. Cathar Commando is okay, but it's not hitting a lot. Guardian, similar position. And I've seen a lot of decks only run 2 copies of Siege Veteran, and I can understand why. So, given our current build, we're just going to drop 2 of those and then ship it back. Again, for a mold of 5, deck did work. And if you're playing in the RC, dealing with Grixis is definitely going to be a big concern. This hand can deal with Grixis, but it is slow. I am, however, tempted to keep it. Yeah, we'll try it. It's very reactive. Okay. So hand did get better. And we don't even have to show our hand here, so that's good for us. Admittedly, having the Zephyr Sentinel in hand isn't great. But I think we're just going to play it out here on their end step. Force some type of counter spell. Maybe they're just going to run a cut down. Nope. Opponent lets it go. Alright, sweet. Decline, and then we're just going to swing. Cool. Play go for the throat. You do it. Go ahead, opponent. Go off. Alright. There we go. Now they're starting to do the traditional Grixis thing. Play Corpse Appraiser. Generate some value for themselves. We are, however, going to double spell this turn. Hope that we don't get blown out by something like a Path to Peril or a Brotherhood's End. Thankfully, Path to Peril is really only dealing with like 2 creatures. But there's been a lot more board wipes in the sideboard of Grixis decks. Alright, just going to activate the Skystrike Officer's ability and hopefully not click the cancel button after I click my 3. Okay, wedding announcement's really good. Again, taking a turn off doesn't feel the greatest, but it's something that is very hard for them to deal with. Like, they have to take an entire turn off to do so. Or we just play Brutal Cathar. Are they going to counter it? Because I'll be surprised if that's the line that they go for. Wow, a very aggressive use of Make Disappear here. Getting rid of their only creature. Alright. So swinging for some big damage. Hold up the Resolute Reinforcements to just kind of throw out there. Like this. Hopefully it doesn't eat a counter spell. Good. And if we draw a land off of this, going into a second Skystrike Officer, gonna be perfect. More lands there tossing into the graveyard. And opponent's passing. Draw more cards. opponent's looking at our stuff. Those are cards. Those are real good cards. Alright, opponent is probably about to kill our Harbin. Yeah. If I were in their shoes, I would do the exact same thing. Alpha. Like, there's no reason for us to not just Alpha Strike here. We've got all sorts of soldiers on the board. They're the deck that is having to keep up with us in our aggression. Okay, cool. You get to invoke some despair, but I feel like you're the one that's in desperation mode just a little bit more than us, opponent. Just pass. I see you. You're doing your thing. The wheels are spinning. That little hamster's going on the wheel. Just play out our hand. And swing. Say GG. And boom. Alright, took down the monster of the format, so can't be mad with that. Good results. Alright, see y'all in the next one. Alright, game number 2, and we get to be on the play. Again, the exact thing an aggressive deck wants to do if it is not drawing 6 lands in its opening hand. Much better. Alright, we're just going to throw back one of these super redundant Valiant veterans and then start with the plains. Alright, Grixis again. So this is what I'm expecting for the RC. Lots of Grixis, a couple Jund, probably a good bit of this deck as well, but it's just going to be all over the place. A very well represented deck. So let's see what our opponent does here. If they tap out for any spell, chances are they're going for like Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Calling these shots. Alright, so we're going to play another Valiant veteran. 6 damage on the board is something that they have to deal with. Okay, they're playing Siphon Insight. If they just go... There's a lot of things that they could actually go for on this turn. Shieldred does a number. That does a number. Just our entire board. Oh, they go for Corpse Appraiser. Alright. Interesting. As if it's not expected. Drop some lands. Now, what would really help us out here is if we actually drew into some lands ourselves. But beggars can't be choosers. Alright, so we'll take 3. Yeah, another Blood Tithe is pretty good. Honestly, we might be done for. But let's see. Yep, opponent cast go for the throat. So we're going to hold up the Resolute Reinforcements, at least have something to do on the end step. But our opponent's got a active Reflection. Like, they can just start copying their Blood Tithe Harvester or their Corpse Appraiser for value and start taking stuff out of our graveyard. Not really a whole lot that we can do in this situation. They just had a nuttier draw than we did. Alright. Let's double block here. Take 6. Okay. Okay. Good. Great start for us that there's not really anything that they could do. Having a land, however, would just be ideal. Make this appear. Opponent's going to be able to reflection their corpse appraiser, get it to swing in. Okay. An aggressive attack, but, you know, I get it. And invoke despair. Okay. 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 Good job, opponent. I like it. Alright. I mean, we know what Grixis does. We know what we can do against it, hopefully. Now, again, the thing with this aggressive deck is you really have a hard time trying to figure out what to get rid of. Siege Veteran seems really good, but then there's Resolute Reinforcements. And I feel like a lot of the decisions that you do want to make as far as this deck goes, especially with sideboarding, is heavily based upon what you see out of your opponent's deck. Like, if you know that they're going to be removal heavy, you probably want to get rid of some of the creatures that are just kind of fluff. They're not doing a lot. You want to keep things that are overall helping you somewhat, like, maintain your board state. Now, this is the unfortunate non-bow right here. I think we do have to kind of go for it, though. This forces cut down out of their hand, if they had it. We're just going to go ahead and jam Sky Strike Officer. And then whatever they decide to play this turn, it's getting Brutal Cathard. Interesting. Oh, okay, so they were just waiting for our attack step. Again, surprising that they go for the particular creatures that they are, but I can kind of see the reasoning behind it. Just wish we had that extra land at this point. Yep, Shelly does Shelly things. Alright, Kathy. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave Skrelv back. The little bit of protection on here, great when we think about the overall thing that we can do with Brutal Cathar. Unfortunately, it is not targeted removal. Huh. Yep, they get Shelly back. Yep. Alright. Opponents got their Shieldred. We've got a wedding announcement on board. Let's see if we can make something happen. That is not the thing that we wanted to see happen, though. This Invoke Despair deck, I mean, we're saving ourselves, 2 points of damage. But still really hurts. And we have only one bit of life gain. Shieldred's a house against us. And without a way to get rid of it, we fall like a house of cards. And this is just the thing with the Grixis deck. You have to be quick, you have to be able to get under them, evade their removal, and then you have to be able to evade their big pieces at the end. Like, there's just so many angles that you have to work within to make this matchup even feel close. But it is doable. Yep, an opponent had Shieldred's Edict. If they've got another little piece of removal, that's it. Alright, GG. See you guys. Alright, match number 3, and our opponent is going to be on the play. Hopefully. Well, I guess not hopefully, but we can imagine that they would be. But hopefully they make their opponent or the opponent makes their move quickly. Okay, not the greatest hand. 5 lands, Grell, Valiant Veteran. There are definitely better things to do, but realistically, our deck has a lot of really good draws, and our opponent's mulliganing. We can keep this. Opponent mulligan to 6, and again, 5 lands into Zephyr Sentinel. Hand really is starting to open up, but let's just see. Yeah, so it is a mirror. So the mirror is going to be fairly fun. They are a mirror with Yodian Frontliner, though. That's impressive. Alright, so let's start by Deserted Beach, into Valiant, into Skrelv, and Swing. Now, we may end up giving up a lot of life here. We're giving up an obscene amount of life here. I think the move for us is actually just... let's see. 6, 9 will be at 5. Yeah, we'll block there. This is where everything does kind of start to go sideways for us. And the fact that we don't have a good set of blockers really hurts. Okay, that was a surprise out of our opponent. Um, okay. I feel like just swinging in the air is okay. We get an extra blocker. We can start chipping in little bit by little bit. And opponent does us absolutely dirty here. Horrifically so. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this and this and this. And we gotta kind of aggressively use this here. The Siege Veteran in that instance isn't great. Yep. Okay. Well, this actually does kind of work out really well for us because if our opponent swings out, then we can really kind of blow him out with his a Gandra on their Brutal Cathar. Alright, they unearth there. Cool. And blow him out. Okay, so we will break even with these blocks if we block everything. I think we gotta block like this, though. Nope, because we just come right out at 1 that way. This is such a weird set of blocks. Okay. So we'll take 3. 5. Math. It's hard. And then we're going to go ahead and draw a card. Thankfully, having Guardian of New Benalia in our hand does kind of set us up for a good turn next turn. And then we'll put another counter on the Sky Strike Officer and swing. Not being able to block with Skrelv is really bad. If there is any one card that I feel is just obscenely weak in this matchup, it is Skrelv. Okay, so block and block. Okay, now we gotta do a couple of things. Skrelv will be gotten rid of. And that's a little bit of a pump. What I should have done there was I should have just tapped those 3 with the Sky Strike and then activate the Guardian's ability. Because now, while Thalia will die, we didn't get to draw the extra card, which really would have been beneficial to us in this situation. Sure, you take Skrelv. No issue with that whatsoever. Because we got a backup. Okay. As much as I would love to potentially get our opponent here, I think we do just need to kind of play it safe. We've already kind of created a pretty decent advantage for ourselves, and as long as we can avoid what we did last turn, then we're in a good spot. All right. There we go. Cool. All right. Thalia. Do we like Thalia here? Well, actually, let's see. If we swing, we get to pump the entire team. They will take a pretty hefty chunk. They're going to take at least 6 on the ground and then 4 in the air. They'll gain 2 up to 12. Yeah, we gotta hold off one more turn. One more turn ain't bad though. Alright, so we'll swing like this and pass. And we can draw a couple of cards here, so also not a bad situation. Again, these games are just absolutely grindy. Alright, is our opponent going to swing? Nope. They're going to leave back everything. And they're just going to let us draw a bunch of cards. Alright, Brutal Cathar basically seals this for us at this point. Second Brutal Cathar is just a beating. Alright, so we take this. Alright, sweet. Opponent gives up once they see ours come down. Took us a minute to get there, but we got there. Alright, so in this matchup, what do we want? Well, we were able to see A planes. And again, this is probably one of the weakest things for us. they're probably not expecting us to have something like ossification. So I think we're just gonna get Soul Partition and the Lantern Flare. Ossification is a really good card, but again, we're not really running enough basics to kind of justify this. The other one is really good. You can't use it for anything. So there's a lot of argument to be made. I think we're actually going to leave in a Guardian of New Benalia. Siege Veteran, Sky Strike, Brutal Cathar, they're all fantastic in this situation. Gavany Dawnguard's the only questionable thing, and it's just because, you know, if they leave it unchecked, it's doing something. There's an argument for getting rid of a Skrelv. A solitary Skrelv. It's good discard fodder. But not really doing much else outside of that. Not a lot of targeted removal. Hand is not great. One land, Mull. Hand's a little bit more keepable. Drop a Siege Veteran. We're not really going to be playing Lantern Flare anywhere in the early turns anyway, so it makes sense for us to just, you know, kind of hold it back. Alright, Soldier, play out Recruitment. And we do have a nice, like, 1-2-3 curve here. Kind of surprised the opponent didn't swing with Skrelv, but it's understandable why they didn't. No swings. Gonna cast the Siege Veteran next turn, and we're gonna put Deserted Beach on the field to finally... See? Opponent had a similar idea. Alright. Nothing there. Alright. Drawing the fast land off the top was definitely better. Alright. Putting that there. Swinging. All the life here gonna be super relevant. And we're gonna get rid of our opponent's Harbin if nothing else. Alright. Alright, we're gonna hold off one more turn. And our opponent's stuck on 2 lands. They were definitely looking over Gavany Dawnguard because this is a card they have likely not seen a lot of. And it stops their Brutal Cathars. So, gotta target something else, opponent. So, we can't really attack anything else but Skrelv. Because Skrelv is going to put Hexproof on something. Or Hexproof from something. Alright. So, thankfully, our board is starting to get just a little bit bigger. And that's going to work to our advantage. Alright. We will take our own Brutal Cathar. Now, if opponent has something like Make Disappear, okay, Protect the Negotiators, Brutal, hurts us. We might be losing this one. Yeah. I think this one is over for us. Yep. Okay. Never mind. Things changed up. Alright. So let's go ahead and add another counter here. We're just gonna swing. I mean, they gotta have something. Okay. What's our opponent got? They've got a Sky Strike Officer. That's good. Sky Strike Officer is a good card. What do we have, though? Okay, so Valiant Veteran, Sky Strike. Valiant Veteran's going to make everything a huge threat that our opponent has to deal with. Sky Strike is going to give us some extra protection. We're going to go with Valiant. I think Valiant is just good enough here. And boom. Perfect. Alright, so Brutal Cathar taking their Harbin. Alright, well, let's see what you got for this opponent. And put a counter here. Alright. We're going to swing out, and you have to block everything. They still win on the crackback, but maybe they don't see that. But they probably do. And yep, they drew a card. They took 6. All of our stuff got to live. Yeah. Alright, good game. They saw it. They saw the line. Alright, cool. Game 3. Okay, so let's see. Did we draw any basics here? The answer is yes, we did. It's tempting. It is tempting to bring in the ossification. And the Siege Veteran did kind of gum things up a little bit, but I think we're going to bring in just a couple wedding announcements. It's not making extra soldiers, but having extra bodies, good. Drawing extra cards, good. There's no real downside to it in any capacity. Alright, we're going to be on the play. Hand has an okay curve. The non-bow of non-creature and Thalia is here, but that hurts our opponent too. Alright, gonna go Soldier and play Thalia. No swing. Our opponent plays Harbin. No swing. It's really tempting. I think we're just gonna go ahead and play Sky Strike, and we're gonna go ahead and swing in with both and see what they do. Okay, so no blocks. It's a good position for us. As long as we don't see Protect the Negotiators, I think we're good. Definitely hurts to see that. Alright, I think we're just going to do it like this, where we get rid of their Harbin and just swing in again. Aggression is really what's going to win this for us. And then next turn, Valiant Veteran and a possible 3-drop will do a lot. Opponent gains 3 of their own, and then no swing out of them, which is good. Here's a great turn for us. Cool. And blow them out. Alright. The double block while holding up Otawara, top notch. Alright, game's over. We can pack it up. And opponent says GG. Let's go. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Alright, match number 4. And our opponent will be on the play. So, let's see what we are gonna get here in this weird Phyrexian arena. It's not actually Phyrexian arena. It's not bad. It's not bad. Fortified Beachhead definitely feels kind of bad for us. Alright, Zeator's Proving Ground means that our opponent is playing Jund. And honestly, this might be my first time actually seeing Jund on the arena ladder. I think we're going to go ahead and give our opponent just a little bit of information. Again, Fortified Beachhead already tells them that we are soldiers, but having them deal with this Zephyr Sentinel, or at least giving us an opportunity to play it without interference like we see here, going to be kind of good for us. Going to decline revealing more information and play Siege Veteran. We're going to go ahead and get it outside of cut down range. Is it likely going to get hit with a go for the throat? Probably. Are we okay with that? Not really, but you know what? We'll deal with it. Oh no. They are Jund Reanimator. Well, I guess 4-color Reanimator. Not great, not great, not great. Alright, thankfully we do have some means of actually dealing with this deck in our sideboard, which is good. But it is not set up to be a good matchup for us. However, holding on to this Otawara is actually going to be kind of good. Just because the moment that they do end up doing the Cruelty of Gix thing. Yep. Cool. Get your Atraxa. Refuel. We're going to get to go over you pretty hard, though. Though, they do end up having Liliana. Man, they refueled hard. Alright. 6 cards off of that. That is insane value for our opponent. I mean, Siege Veteran's not really doing a lot. Liliana's going to be at 2. Yeah. Cool. Well, gotta love that Thoughtseize bug, even when it is on Arena. Alright. Get our little creature. We're still not in great shape here. If they do anything like play Shelly, not the greatest. Yep. Fable number 2. Go for the throat. Yeah, I don't think we're getting this one. Actually, we'll take 4. Um, I mean, they still have all of that mana to just go ahead and cast the Cruelty of Gix even after doing all that. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and pack it up here. I know it seems like an early concession, but we've got no real way to interact with them. Now, what do we want in this matchup? Just like with Grixis, we really want to make sure that we have a good amount of things to deal with their stuff and make it difficult for them to deal with ours. Lantern is the best hit. Beyond that, Soul Partition, pretty good, though they do ramp a little bit hard. Ossification seems nice. Again, this is why we don't really want ossification that badly, but it's not a bad idea. Spell Pierce seems okay, because it stops Cruelty of Gix. Wedding Announcement, again, just aggression and everything. Gavity Dawn Guard's okay. Alright, so anytime that you see a deck with Blood Tithe Harvester, just drop the Guardians immediately. They're not going to be doing anything great for you. Beyond that, Siege Veteran, kind of a weak card for us here. Brutal Cathar is a little weak. And it's only weak just because, like, the early turns where you could use it, like, you're not taking out anything super significant. The late turns, like, yeah, you're taking out Shieldred, yeah, you're taking out Atraxa, but not much else. Resolute Reinforcements is really a lot of air here for us. While Harbin's so good, I think just dropping Resolute entirely and just trying to go harder, because 2/1/1s for 2, not great. Alright. We're going to be on the play, and hand is a touch slow. But we're going to keep it just because Wedding Announcement on 3 can be good. And Dennick stops their entire game plan with just bringing Atraxa back. And they saw that it was going to ruin their game plan. Okay, so now we are not in great shape. Not hitting our 3rd land feels rough. Just absolutely rough. Alright, Zephyr. And they pass. Alright, we're going to go ahead and cast Thalia then. If they have Cut Down, doesn't feel too great for us. Ooh, Shelly. Alright, play Valiant Veteran. Getting just a wee bit land screwed here isn't too good for us either. Like, we could try to race Shelly, but it's not going to have a similar effect. Alright, there's Blood Tithe. Okay. So, let's go ahead and play that on Soldier. And then we will pump Thalia up just a little bit. Next turn, if they swing with Shelly, we're just gonna block with either the Siege Veteran or the Valiant Veteran. But one of the two. Honestly, probably Siege Veteran, just because if Valiant is the thing we block with and they decide to activate Blood Tithe Harvester after that fact, we'd be in a bad spot. Okay, so they're not going to Cruelty of Gix this turn. That's good. They're looking at removal in their hand. Parasitic Grasp is a card. Okay. So this helps us just a tad. Not a lot, but like enough. Cool. You do your thing with the Cruelty of Gix. You get your Atraxa back. And getting Brotherhood's End is not going to be fun. Yep. Yep, Brotherhood's End next turn is really going to be a beating for us. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play that. Pump Thalia up just a little bit more. She's still going to die. But let's hope that our opponent doesn't see that. Yep, they saw it. Yep, that's GG. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Oof, that Reanimator matchup. Alright, match number 5, and we get to be on the play. And this hand isn't too bad, actually. It's a little iffy, given the fact that we're going to go, Sea Chrome into Guardian, but after that, it opens up in a really big way. Alright, so we're going to start with naming Soldier. And they started on Haunted Ridge, which makes me think that obviously they're Rakdos, but that their hand probably isn't the greatest. It's a very slow Rakdos draw. Okay, so we're going to Siege Veteran here. That way next turn we can go double spell with Valiant and with Thalia. Shieldred's Edict is a card. It's a card that really does a number against us. Alright, opponent's looking over what they can do. Chances are they're just going to play a Fable this turn. Maybe they play some type of removal. Lightning Strike. Interesting. Okay. Not a piece that I am used to seeing out of these decks. I think we're going to go ahead and just cast Thalia here first. If only because we know that they can't actually use Cut Down on it, initially. They could do it in response to us casting Thalia, but now we have both. Okay, Florian is a card that they can play. Alright, so I think here what we want to do is we want to hold on to Resolute Reinforcements. As tempting as it is to just go ahead and kind of jam the Sky Strike Officer, let's see what they do. Okay, they're probably going to block. Nope, they're doing the Rakdos thing and taking it. Okay, smart. And First Strike here definitely is a really good effect to have. Okay, if they have a main board wipe, then we get blown out here. Like Path to Peril in the main hurts us so much. Okay, they just go for the Evolved Sleeper. So they can pump it up to a 3-3, which again doesn't feel good for us. But I think we can just go ahead and swing in with Thalia and see what they do. Okay. So we're going to double pump. Next turn, they're probably going to draw the card. Yep, alright, cool. So opponent's really just kind of looking over our board. They can now cast a Invoke Despair, which is pretty huge for them. But they just keep looking at our creatures. Lots of reading going on here. Okay. So the exact scenario that I thought would end up happening is happening. Alright. Let that go. Alright. And then we're just going to go ahead and swing 6. Opponent's going to have to take 6 unless they really want to block with their Evolved Sleeper, which, if our opponent isn't reading well, then we can get them. Hey, let's go. Alright, first strike finna get them. The thing that gets so many people. Alright. Now we just need to be able to fade a good bit of board wipe and we're good. Hidetsugu consumes all. It's a board wipe, for sure. The fact that that's in the main board is very interesting to me. Okay, Blood Tithe. And opponent scoops it up. Alright, sweet. Now, opponent looked like they were on a more aggressive version of a mid-range deck. Gavany and then wedding announcements. I mean, the normal package, honestly. Guardian and then Cathar Commando come out. And then here, I think we just want to split to a certain extent. Let's drop 2 Resolute and 1 Siege Veteran. Bringing in the Soul Partition doesn't really feel necessary to me, because it looks like they were more creature heavy. And again, this is like the small set of decision making that really becomes integral towards playing this deck in particular tournaments, trying to analyze the deck choices that your opponents make. This is a keepable hand, given the Deserted Beach really doesn't make it look that great on the surface, but Igonjo with Recruitment, we play that on 2, we have another Recruitment. Not bad. And it got our opponent looking at our hand. They were thinking about what we could be doing, what the context of our hand could look like. This puts a little bit of pressure on them early, which is really what we want to do. If we get that third land, we are just windmill slamming this wedding announcement. Alright, opponent's looking at their hand. They're looking at our creatures. Okay, cut down. Sulfurous Springs kind of helping us with what we're trying to do over here. Alright, so not really helping us all that much, but admittedly, we've got enough to make our hand function with just 2 lands. If they go and try to kill this in any way, then we do some pretty good stuff here. Alright. Okay. The opponent cuts down our creature, which isn't fun. Alright, so I think we're just going to go ahead and cast Denick here. Our opponent's only down to 1 card, which is pretty sweet. And they are 1 swamp away from going Invoke Despair. Shelly's Edict does the job, though. Opponent swings in for 6. They get to look at the top 6 cards of their deck and exile 1. Ooh. Okay. Opponent's basically running the red-black deck that came out in standard in paper, like just the pre-constructed one. Which, I mean, it's not a bad deck, but for what we're trying to do and what they're trying to do, there are better things overall to do. Okay. So, we got no choice. We gotta take 5 down to 3. Lightning Bolt kills us. And again, they get 5 damage. Or 5 cards deep. Yep, Lightning Bolt kills us. Okay. Lightning Bolt did in fact kill us. No complaints, run it back. The biggest thing that just hurt us in that game is the fact that we didn't end up drawing any lands. Which, a 2-land hand is definitely kind of a snap keep with this deck, so... Again, we're back in that situation. 2-land hand is a snap keep here. Alright, so we're going to go Fortified Beachhead, showing recruitment, play recruitment. Next turn, they're probably not going to get rid of our turn 1 recruitment officer, so I think we might just kind of risk it and play Harbin and force them to use some of their removal. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely going to now. Yeah, they're going to kill Harbin, so good threat. They're going to play something here. Nope. Alright, so just land, swing, and then wedding announcement. This is the hardest thing that, Rakdos in particular, but most of the, black XX decks just have such a hard time dealing with. The only answer that they have is Invoke Despair, and that's not coming down until turn 5. Alright, so here we're just going to play Brutal Cathar, take that out, and I mean, swing 3, draw a card. It's a pretty good card. Pretty good card. Alright. Cool. So, everything got bigger. Our opponent really doesn't want to swing into us right now. Invoke Despair does some pretty serious work. Alright. Okay. So, boom. Now we're going to eat up Shelly. And then we're just going to swing. Opponent's seeing 7 come at him. Okay. Opponent's down to 10. Okay. Yep. And opponent's going to make us have to have it. Now the question is, are they going to swing with Gix? And it doesn't look like they are. Alright. Oh, it's so... It's so tempting. Like, again, just being able to push the advantage that we have here. Like, we have to just keep the pressure on. But if they do anything, yeah, like here. Alright. Alright, so opponent didn't do it. Alright, so we're gonna draw this, swing. Alright, we're right there. We are right there. As long as our opponent doesn't board wipe even harder, we pull this one out. Alright, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Come on, opponent. You see it. Where are you going to do it? Alright, what you taking out? Alright. We gotta get rid of a non-token. And we did it. Man, that was a tight game, but we got there. Deck doesn't do well at grinding, but it can always pull out those narrow wins. Alright, see you guys in the wrap-up. Alright, so what do we think about white-blue soldiers in this competitive environment? Honestly, the deck itself, it's fine. It hasn't changed much since the last set because it's that solid. I will, however, say this. With the present rise in the Reanimator deck, it does make sense to possibly go up some number of Denic in the main board, and maybe to go up some number of Lantern of the Lost, or even just start running Unlicensed Hearse out of the sideboard. Um, Outside of that, there's really no other problems with the deck. If you're heading out to San Diego and you really want to try to just beat down any of the Grixis decks out there, this might be the deck to do it. But see you guys in the next one.